Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Cronkey.
Martin Cronkey becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome along to the SRF Weekend Warriors presented by RaceVoice here on Apex Racing TV. Well, it's week 2 and of course we are at Spa. Now, Francorchamps, it's one of the classic race circuits beloved by drivers and spectators alike, where today the true essence of speed can be explored in spectacular style on a safe and modern facility. However, it hasn't always quite been like that. The original incarnation, Spa was a circuit truly to be feared as it posed so many dangers like no other. Fast straights, sweeping corners and unpredictable weather combined to create a lethal combination, and sadly all too often did. However, today, due to the beauty of sim racing, we don't have to worry about any fatalities, just great racing that we will see here out on track on this Boxing Day. I'm Tim Cox, I'm joined by Adam Hadfield, and as always, of course, we have Jonathan Grabowski on production. Adam, last week, Lime Rock, a small, tight circuit. This week, a complete chalk and cheese. We're off to Spa, completely polar opposite, a big, wide open track.
Yeah, good evening, Tim. Good evening, everyone watching at home. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you're well stuffed and ready to sit down and watch some good racing. I'm looking forward to a real blockbuster, hopefully not a lump of coal tonight. Yeah, it's a very, very, very different track. We've gained about 3 miles from last week out in Lime Rock. You could fit Lime Rock into just the first sector here, I think. Big, wide open circuit, big, long straights. Last week it was all about the traffic. This week I think it's going to be all about those draft trains.
And And it's, of course, you know, we've got the Kennel Straight, we've got the run through to Blanchimont as well. It's just packed with plenty of overtaking opportunities. Of course, these cars do love the slipstreams. Just watching Chris Murakami there, driver will be looking to retain his Masters Championship. Now, of course, we mentioned last week, the Masters category has been changed. It used to be for the over 60s, now been dropped down to the over 55s. So a slight change to the rules. So we've got Aero Nom here as well, although only currently 4th during qualifying. The qualifying just coming to an end right now. Obviously another driver looking to retain his title and also bring himself, if he can win it this season, up on level with the most amount of championship wins with Gaspers, who's on 5. Sure, it's a credit that Aero Nom will be wanting towards his name. Now, just a bit of a mention of RaceVoice, our sponsor for this series. If you're looking for a simple way to transform complicated performance data into easy to understand voice notifications and alerts, they have over 16 different notifications, including up and down shift, override of alerts, corner entry, turn in and exit speeds. It provides immediate feedback on driver and vehicle performance. And seeing qualifying come to a very end there before the drivers just having a quick 5-minute warm-up, and then we'll be heading off for the 40 minutes of racing. Now, worth mentioning, of course, in week 1 last week, Aero Nom, of course, returned to winning race, carriage where he left off from last season, taking the victory in Spec 1, and of course overall Austin Winner and Yangji Lin rounded out the podium. But well, my colleague Adam, it was ridiculously close a lot across the line between Winner, Lin and Bartman. I think there was something like under 300ths of a second separating the 3 of them at the finish line.
Yeah, there was a great shot went round on social media of the 3 of them, literally neck and neck as they crossed the line. You could have split them with a cigarette paper as they came across. Don't forget there were I think 5 cars entering the last corner together, sort of 2 by 2, and a couple of them went for scenery on the scenic route out into the grass. Well, yeah, I expect to see pretty much the same tonight. I don't think anyone's going to be breaking away. It's going to be all pack racing, and there's the opportunities around most of the corners here to be 2 or 3 wide. It's not as narrow. I fully expect to see another photo finish somewhere in the pack, and let's hope it's up front.
Yeah, we've got plenty. I mean, it's going to be interesting, you know, like you say, where there's plenty of opportunity to go 2 wide, and certain parts of the course, I think it's going to be who's going to be brave enough to go 2 wide as well. Of course, you think of, you know, the run up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion, where, you know, quite often there's only 1 line, although knowing these guys, I'm sure they'll make it 2 wide somehow. And of course, that long, you know, swooping left-hander towards the end of the lap at, well, thankfully it's the second to last corner, that is Blanchimont. And I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's literally who's going to be the most brave as to who's going to make the progress, and possibly a little bit of luck creeping in as well.
Yeah, you've got to be smart as well, though. You can't just take any move that presents itself to you. If you do that, you're going to find yourself re-overtaken quite quickly. You've got to think, where's the best opportunity? Where can I make the move and then hold on to it? Also, pit stops will come into play. Last week, we were hoping that if anyone came to the pits, they'd be looking to come out into clean air. Tonight, you're probably looking to come out with a pack, someone you can draft off and really maximise your lap times during that pit stop phase.
Now, while we were just going through the results, so winner in Masters was John Payne. He finished 7th overall to the American. Chris Murakami, he was 2nd in Masters. And it was Antonio Rossi, who was 16th overall, but managed to grab that last 3rd place in Masters. Then in Spec 2, I think it was Paulo Brame who took the victory on that one. It's just right on board with him, funnily enough now. Of course, we're running the endurance pit, so the drivers come out back into the you know, the racing line almost as they come across the top through Radion, and I think that, like you say, Adam, you know, that could be a little bit interesting if where someone's carrying a bit more momentum up the hill, and you've got someone just coming out the pits right onto your what will be effectively your driving line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many practice laps they've done coming out of the pits. There's a lot of time to be gained up there. Obviously, these are not the most powerful of cars in the world, so they are probably flat from pit exit all the way back up onto the Kemmel Straight. But yeah, it's a tricky little exit as well. It's tight in places. You've got to follow the contours of the outside barrier, not clip the barrier anywhere, or risk reducing all your speed down the back. And then yeah, who's going to come over the top and find you at half speed down the straight? Could be tricky if there are a few cars at different speeds going along the Kemmel.
And good to see I've had a few of you in chat over at Lampis, giving us a nice little wave there. And Jorg Marnie's been in chat. He says, Hal, I'm 56 lol, and now I'm in the Masters class. It's one of the slight downsides, but I'm sure making your life a little bit easier. Well, I say a little bit easier, because we've seen great performances from the guys in Masters, really getting in there and mixing up with the Spec 1 guys, the strongest category within this series. Now, just worth mentioning, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening here at Apex Racing TV, you can follow us on our socials. Twitter, we are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is, of course, facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And then Instagram, well, of course, you've guessed it, it is Apex Racing TV. To follow us on there, and also don't forget to give us a subscribe and a like on here as well, so you know when we go live as well. And not long left to go, just a couple of minutes left before we take to the grid here in week 2. Now, just obviously it's a rolling start within this category, Adam. I think of La Source, it could be a little bit of an interesting one, these opening laps, because it's tight and it is quite prone more often than not to a little bit of, you know, argy-bargy, shall we say.
Yeah, well, last week we didn't even make it to the start line, did we, before we had all hell break loose just coming down the hill from under the bridge. I'm hoping that everyone's learned the lessons from that they're going to give each other a little bit more racing room. I'll be honest, I don't know quite what caused it. I imagine maybe someone was flickering or just warming their tyres up, caused a little bit of a carambolage there. Hopefully everyone's learnt from that, and we will at least make it to Eau Rouge before the argy-bargy gets underway.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting as well, obviously, from, you know, that point onwards. It's pretty much, like you were saying earlier, it's foot flat to the floor, pretty much all the way until you get to Lacombe, which is right the right-hander, right at the end of the Kemmel Straight. I think it could be interesting to see how the drivers handle what's going to be cold tyres and cold brakes as well. It's that big braking zone, and trying to effectively thread the needle as you head, you know, right into the start of it, and then left, and then you've got the right of Malmsey pretty much straight after it as well.
Yeah, last week everyone was sort of on top of their game in those terms. Certainly after the first corner, I think everyone handled the cold tyres pretty well. This week we're going to be side by side for almost the entire lap, I imagine, off the start. So let's see if that added bit of jeopardy doesn't affect some judgments out there.
So we're just around about 20 seconds away from taking to the grid. Wrong left at all. Well, of course, Aspara's changed not too much over the years, really. Of course, what's called the bus stop chicane, it's no longer really a bus stop right at the end of the lap. That's sort of left our being a true essence of bus stop. That was in 2006, and the tracks remained unchanged since around about 2007 as to what it currently is, as the drivers just disappear off now as they look to take to the grid and we head off racing. Now, well worth mentioning, of course, the drivers are limited on fuel within this series, so they will have to take a pit stop. But let's just run you through your grid right now. So, on pole is Jorg Marnie with Marco Panera, the Italian alongside for company. We've got Naselli and Aaron, the two protagonists who we've seen battle out so often, and interested to see how those two get on, starting alongside on the second row rather than the first for a change. Dina Castro has Robin Young with him, Tony Bartman, fellow Canadian. Young has got Yung Zhang Wang with him. And then the fifth row is Mika Rodriguez with Michael Figboner. On to the sixth row is James Walker with Yang Ji Lin, who's qualified quite far down by his standard. It's been interesting to watch him come through the pack. Jason Perry, he's 13th with Tabaka in 14th. Alan McCain is in 15th with Favini alongside for company. Then it's Dobek, Green, Walker and Bradshaw to round out your top 20. But a surprising one from Chris Murakami all the way down in 21st. He's got Peter Mirashek with him. Balkan and Payne, two fellow masters. Sure, they'll be all working together. Well, maybe not. With Stevie Ray and Jim Brewster just rounding up that gaggle of Masters class cars. Then it's Fritscher and Gaspers. Gaspers well down at the 5 times championship. Dantas and Godfrey rounding out top 30. Then it's Kong and Bernardo, McGuinness and Brain. Luero, Gibson taking it all the way up to 36th place. Then it's Cantor, Broadhurst, Bradwell, another driver qualified well down today with Paul Jackson to round out your top 40. Then it's Davison, Flores, Conlon, Walbolt, Sancinelli, another driver we expect to be a little bit further up. Bertoni and Mino, we saw great progress from them last season at Daytona. Of course, they were really flying. Simon Mayer also starting well down the grid in 48th place. Samuel Dick and Burkitt ran out your top 50 with Santiago and Jin Brown making a last full row in 56th and 52nd. And Antonio Race starting at the back of the pack. Of course, think back to back in the last season at Daytona. He qualified on the front row, so a bit of a contrast for him, and I'm sure he's going to be picking his way through the field. He's just going round the source, waiting for the safety car to pull in. We get ready to go racing here at Spa, just looking into the background. Everyone got away relatively cleanly, but Marnie leads the way so far as they head up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time, and everyone making it through relatively neatly so far. Just a few people running a little bit wide. It's all happening here. It's oh, there's a big incident in the midfield there. I think that's Perry involved in it. So it's flipping all across the track there. It's all happening, and people caught up left, right, and centre here right now. People have to take a action.
That's not how we want to see the race going off. Flicking down the pit lane. 4, 5, 6 cars involved, and everyone's stacked up trying to find a safe way through.
It was a wow. We knew there might be a bit of action, but well, we weren't quite expecting that one. So it's all happening here at Spa in these opening laps. As you see, Davison just on the outside there, just getting overtaken by Santiago. I think that's Fritscher as well, just locked up right behind these guys, incredibly close. And what this has allowed is the front guys have really got some fresh air over these guys lower down the field. We now head further down the field, but let's take a look at this replay here. Exactly what happened in the midfield. Oh, Perry just getting a bit loose in a connection, and that's where the mayhem started there, Adam. But as you said, Adam, it was just all going, man, everyone, having to take evasive action to try and get away from him. And
yeah, I don't know if Jason realised he had a car on his left, whether he was aware that he was 3 wide in the middle and just thought he'd give the car on the right a little extra room, and inadvertently has caught the driver to his left, and then all hell's broken loose, collecting at least 3 or 4 of the cars there and splitting up the pack quite significantly. We've got a clear gap from 13th to 14th of 2 seconds now.
We have just leading the way. So, there's someone out right there. Was that I'm trying to spot who that was. Someone running really, really wide out in the background there. Yeah, it was Big Bonner. Oh, and that's a big incident for him, and that's hefty damage he's taken to his car. It looks like he's almost crabbing there, Adam.
Yeah, he's taken fairly significant damage. That's a pit stop, or he's not going any further.
We see Rodriguez just heading through there. Let's take a little look exactly what happened to Big Bonner.
At the back of the pack of these 4 here. Oh, and again, it's someone not quite realising he's got a car to the other side, 3 wide, and Finkerbonner's just got squeezed out into the grass and then can't turn in for the Bonchemont.
Yeah, it's just so tough, wasn't it, really? And just caught up there through no fault of his own, really. Just pushed wide and nowhere to go whatsoever.
Meanwhile, at the front, we've got a breakaway of 4 cars here. Naselli, Pinero, Nom and Manny have made a clear break away from Castro in 5th. That's 2.5 seconds. That's not something I was expecting to see so early in the race.
Yeah, they've really been able to pull away of these 4. Give themselves some nice fresh air, really. Just be able to move away. And like you say, we always tend to get a bit of a breakaway group, but this is a bit of a small group by Weekend Warriors standards. Just see move through there.
Yeah, good to see Pinero back up at the front after his connection issues last week. He'll be looking to avenge that result, take home a podium at the very least. He was in the fight with Nom for at least the first half of the race until the pit stops, and then just after pit stops taking place, suddenly disappeared off our screens. So let's hope he's sorted all the issues out there and can take the fight for the entire race.
See Murakami, leader in Masters and making a little bit of progress at 5 places so far, but Sally leading the way right now overall from Pinero, Nom and Marnie. Making your top 4 in that breakaway group. Then we've got Castro, Bartman, Rodriguez, Walker, Wang and McCain making up your top 10 here in these opening stages. And wow, we knew it'd be action, but I don't think we were quite expecting what we've had so far. We're already not even 5 minutes in yet here, Adam.
About 35 minutes to go. Lots of action ahead of us. Castro, I think, has actually made some time this lap. At the start of the lap, he was about 3.8, maybe even 4 seconds off the lead. It's down to 3.3, so obviously a hot lap coming in from Castro.
Yeah, expecting it as he runs down to the bus stop there. See Mirashek trying to get a move done on Dantas there. See him right behind as they come now hard onto the brakes as they enter into the bus stop chicane. You can see just behind them there is Kong, who's right on board with right now. Hooking the car up and everyone making it through cleanly. Who gets the best exit? Well, but looking at that one, to me it looked like Dantas definitely got the best exit. You see there, Adam, he seems to visibly actually pulled out a bit of a gap over these two just in the space of the bus stop chicane there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Kong definitely got a little bit too close under the rear bumper there and probably just compromised his exit. Not sure quite how Dantas got such a flyer off there. He's pulled a couple of kart lengths. That'll all disappear up the Camel Straight, I'm afraid. But a good effort from him. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got 3, 4 wide, is it?
Yeah.
Manny taking the lead.
It's all happening in the background. It's hard to know where to look right now. Cars side by side, up and down the field. Castro getting absorbed there. Rodriguez, he's got someone just inside him. I think that's Walker. This is all happening here. It's hard, as always, it's hard to know where to look. L's emerging up and down the field. Rodriguez just in the middle of that battle there, still being led by Castro. I mean, interestingly, we were saying about Castro being on a quick one. Last time around, Marco Pinero got the fastest lap of 2:42.1, 10 quicker than anyone else out on track right now. You see Rodriguez there, just under a bit of pressure from Walker, and equally in front of him, Bartman applying the pressure onto Castro.
Yeah, Bartman really pushing Castro around the left-hander there. Oh, we've got to slow. Is that a lapped car just pulling out of the way?
That's Godfrey. They're just coming round past there. I think Godfrey was one of the drivers caught up in that first lap action that I think claimed something like, I think it's about 8 different victims. There was Kern, Finkbon, well, he was involved in a separate incident. Perry, Fritcher, Brame, Godfrey, Cantor, Bernardo McGuinness, Bolbot and Sancinelli all cut up in that one. So we just head back to this 4-way battle for the front. And as we've, well, a bit different to what we normally see. Normally they all remain in a sort of standard line, but Jorg Marnie currently heading up this lead group here, Adam.
Yeah, our pole sitter's regained the lead. He lost it off the start. He was down to 4th, having swapped places, swapped round with Nom. Not quite sure how that all unfolded, but he's reclaimed the lead now. Let's see who's going to work with him and who's going to fight him. Naselli's drafted in straight behind him. Pinero in 3rd. Nom just a little bit off the back. He's lost half a second there, so maybe a mistake on that lap. But still maintain the 2-second lead to the next group, headed by Castro, with Bartman still right under the rear bumper. Walker and Rodriguez continue to battle too.
You see Castro there being, you said it before, Adam, Bartman all over the back of him right now. Just behind him, Walker, fellow Canadian to Bartman. He's got Rodriguez, new drivers to the championship. Right behind him as we see Young and Payne side by side there. Just needs to be a little bit careful here as they go through Eau Rouge, then up the hill through across Radion. Murakami locked in the middle of this pack with Bradshaw and then Walker at the tail. They all fan out and across the track, trying to go side by side now. The person at the front is going to be the person who's going to lack the most amount of speed just from that lack of draft surely here, Adam, as we see Murakami now taking charge of this group.
Yeah, Young did the smart thing there. He backed out of it before they got to Eau Rouge, pulled in for a slipstream. But I think it's actually cost him two. Adam Bradshaw goes round, pauses in the middle. Oh, careful on the rejoin. Yeah, finds a spot. Oh, but someone else has got collected.
That was Mirashek, I think. That was Mirashek. He just got clearly a bit unsighted and unsettled there. And that's what caught him.
Let's see on the replay how that all unfolded. I think he's going to just get clobbered by someone making avoiding action, and he can't avoid the extra movement. Oh no, someone's gone for the undertake, not realising that they all need to slow down and make allowance for the accident. And he's off into the barrier, lost at least 4 places, and he's not looking quite as shipshape anymore in that car.
Kind of back live, and Walker now taking charge of this little bit of a battle between these 4. Castro, the big loser, he's dropped a couple of places in this gaggle of cars. He's back down to 7th place. Bartman, another driver, slipping a little bit as well. He's dropped to 8th as well. However, big hats off to Bertoni. We've seen big gains from him so far this season. He's at 25 places. He's already down in 21st right now. But these guys need to be well, probably not so much these guys, but the guys behind them need to be careful, because you can see there's another group just behind them, which we've got Yangji Lin, Dobek, McCain and Wang all locked up in a bit of a battle, and they seem to be really closing up onto that group just ahead of them of Walker, Rodriguez, Castro and Bartman. Yeah, from what I can tell, Adam, well, there you go, yeah, you can see just how much that's closing up there.
Yeah, I've heard of going 2x2. Spec Racer 4 drivers apparently go 4x4. We've got a breakaway 4, a trailing 4, and then a following 4 from that of McCain down to Wang. 4 cars all working together, just trying to catch up with the group in front.
But this sort of third group of 4 that we've got here, they do seem that, just looking at the data as well, they do seem to be catching that group ahead of them. Just looking at like lap times last time around, they were around about, what, 0.7 of a second quicker than the group ahead of them. So that sort of pace and the way they keep all battling, as you see a bit of bump drafting there from Rodriguez. They're pushing Walker along the straight. Castro's going to get up the inside.
Yeah, excellent use of the bump draft there. Always a dangerous one when you hit a big braking point there. You've got to make sure you get out from underneath his rear wheels before he slams on the brake, otherwise you're both booking a ticket into the wall.
These guys seem to be really closing up on this group ahead of them. Castro's taken charge of them once more. Bartman's still at the rear, where they've been battling away, and just look at it. Obviously, the group ahead of them, the group of 4, that they're not really making any real impression on them. And they all seem to be working. The top 4 seems to be working much better together than the groups of 4. 2 other groups of 4 that are behind them.
Yeah, it's difficult to read how it's to-ing and fro-ing as well, because there's always going to be one driver in each group who's benefited from the slipstream and maybe jumped from the back to the front and set the fastest lap for their particular group. And it's difficult to sort of compare and contrast, because all the other drivers in that group are probably a second or sort of slower.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one. I think it's definitely going to be interesting coming the round of pit stops to see what these guys do. Do they all come in together? Or do they look to play off a little bit of strategy and come in around, you're saying earlier, Adam, around another group, whether they do run the risk of being caught up in a group that are much slower than the pace that they're lapping at in their current group. It's a real tricky conundrum for our drivers to just see Payne there getting passed by Walker in what is yet another group of 4.
Yeah, this is the Masters group. Murakami and Payne battling out for honours in that one. But yeah, another group of 4 down to 16th place. Regarding the pit stops, obviously last week they lost about 30 seconds in the pits. This week a much longer pit lane. We're looking at more like 50 seconds lost time to make a pit stop, which will drop the leaders way down the order into the 30s. It's a bit tricky to see where they'd actually come out and whether they'd get that clean out or a tow, which they'd be after.
It's probably a bit of a blessing disguised. We've seen Murakami just locking up into Lasorda. Walker just elected to stay behind him. But it's a bit of a good job that the drivers aren't having to run the full endurance pits, as we just see that's Payne popping in the first of our sort of like leading groups to visit the pits. And
this will give us a good idea of how long it's going to take through the pit lane.
Stevie Ray, he is in as well, another of the Masters drivers, and yeah, I mean, luckily it's only just this sort of latter section of the pits. It's not the full length endurance pits that the drivers are having to race, endure, because they're losing an absolute ton of time through that one. To see Murakami just getting the hurry up there from Walker, and a little bit surprising, really, Adam, to see that the drivers utilising the bump draft rather than just going for the overtake instead.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of a non-competition idea between them. If I try and draft past you, you might think we'll be battling here. Whereas if I bump draft you, we're working together. And it's just sort of that little bit of extra communication between the drivers. They know they're working for a common goal, and at the moment, not racing, just trying to set fastest laps and catch the guys in front.
See to back there, all over the back of Broadhurst. Simon Mayer just in front of him, a bit down the field by his standards, although he has managed to rise through the rankings up 24 places so far today. Only beaten by Petoni, who is in 19th right now and is up to 27 places. Great drive from him. But it's approaching a quarter of an hour completed, and Sully still leads from Pinero, Marnie and Nom. Walker, Rodriguez, Castro, Bartman, Lynn and Dobek round out your top 10 as we head back to this leading group, who seems to be probably, of all the groups of 4 that we seem to have, which we do seem to have a few of them, this group seems to be working together the very best of everyone.
Yeah, that's probably to be expected. Pinero and Nom in there, plus our pole sitter Manny. I've not seen Nom at the front recently, though. I think he's just decided, I'll sit off the back. If there's any contact, I'll be out of it. And probably just wait until the latter half of the race to really make his move. Meanwhile, we've got a real battle going off here. Castro fighting off Bartman and Dobek there.
Well, yeah, because where that sort of third group of 4 was slowly catching that second group of 4, while they have now fully caught them, and they're enveloping them as each second goes by, and it's all starting to kick off in this midfield, and this could go as Bartman's in, and also McCain, they've bailed and headed to the pits. Might be a little bit wise, where it's just starting to get a little bit spicy there between everyone. We saw it down at the bus stop there, Adam.
Yeah, good decision. Get out of the fight. Let's go and set some fast laps when we come back out of the pits. Meanwhile, Pinero takes the lead off of Naselli.
It is. They finally swap places, those guys, but saying Aaron Nom, the highest place that he's made it so far is 3rd place. He seems to be happy to sit at the back of this group. But York Marnie having an absolutely great race in that 3rd place. I'm going to be absolutely thrilled to pieces with that one. Now,
just interesting to see if they'll all follow themselves into the pits in the next few laps. If one goes, will the other 3 go?
I think, for me, I don't know about yourself, Adam, I think so, surely, because they wanted to be work together as best as possible. And I think the last thing that they'll want is to get caught in that big battle that they can probably see from their relatives. That's happening behind them, because they could end up losing a whole heap of time and well out of the running, because they've lost so much time from getting caught up in amongst those guys.
Yeah, as we focus in on Lynn now, our 3rd place driver from last week, just bringing up the tail of this group. He's made a few places this race. He's coming on strong.
Yes, he's maybe a bit disappointing by Yangshi Lin's standards, only 9th at the moment. You're normally used to seeing him battling out up near the front. Clearly, he's got work to do from him. Dobek is having a great race in front of him. He's managed to get himself up 9 places into 8th right now. You see then just ahead of him is Dudu Castro. I'll tell you what, Lynn was part of the 4th group, wasn't he? So you can see now where all these groups are starting to all come together behind our leader. So you can probably just about see at the bottom of your screen heading through now. So we see Rodriguez onto the brakes. That's Walker just behind him in the pink car. Castro, Dobek and Lynn rounding out that group. And I think, well, I would imagine that these guys are probably going to want to run it, this lead group, as long as they possibly can for their pit strategies. We see them, they're all going to carry on at least one more time. Yes, they definitely are. But, well, see Aaron Ott still sat at the back of this group and with that slightly different livery as well to what we're normally used to seeing him in as well. So, yeah, I get the feel almost they're going to try and run this as long as possible and have the car as light as possible. You know, the minimum amount of fuel in for as long as they possibly can for that short pit stop, as we see Castro just powering his way past Rodriguez, who's in the orange car. That is Walker just in front of him. Dobek having a bit of it as well, following his way through as they're going to go 3 wide here into Lacombe. Everyone just backing out a little bit. Castro's going to come across and shut the door on everyone and take charge of this chasing group.
Yeah, it's been his favoured position, chasing the front 4 from the lead of this next group. Got a little bit of a push from Dobek there, I think, as we see another side-by-side group. This is Bertoni, Gaspers, Young and Murakami making up places.
See Murakami getting us right in amongst everything. David Gaspers, of course, as mentioned, 5-time previous winner of this championship, and probably expecting to see fighting it up near the front, but great to see him back in the series in that 21 black and green car. It's Bertoni just in front of him. He's up 34 places. That is incredible. Of course, we've got a mammoth field as always here in SRF Weekend Warriors. 53 cars out on track, but even so, that's an amazing game here from Bertoni.
That's exceptional work. He's made light work of the drivers there. I don't think he's going to be getting a hell of a lot further forward. He's got a 6-second gap to Walker now, and all those drivers in front of him are working together to one degree or another.
So we look back from Bertoni, there's Gaspers behind him. So don't discredit Murakami. He's got Young and Kong just behind him. We're actually just looking at it, Dantas as well. Worth mentioning Bartman, he is the highest runner of everyone who has pitted so far. He's down in 24th place. You see him, he's stuck in amongst, that's Gradwell just in front of him, McCain just behind. Now Bartman was part of the 2nd group originally, which I didn't include at the time, for Castro and Rodriguez, so he needs to make bit of light work, Bartman, as he sort of has done here, and get clear of these guys and try and utilise this fresh air in front of him, which has got a big old gap. You see Dantas just make his way past past Kong there. Yeah, just really, get motoring as quick as possible to try and pick up some places. Well, there you go. We said, would they come in all together? The answer is no. It's Nicelli and Panero, who are both teammates. They're in together. I don't know about you. I've got a bit of a cold, Adam. My smell isn't the best, but I can smell some team tactics going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be working together to the end now. Let's see who they come out around. I'm expecting them to be sort of bottom end of the teens, maybe around Brewster.
That'd be interesting to see. Naselli, he's heading out. Likewise, Panera's still stationary.
Slow pit stop.
Ooh, as you see Dobek there, just a bit of battle. Rodriguez right in front of him.
No, not a repeat.
He is still stationary, isn't he? And Bartman's going to get ahead of him. So where he's gone with fighting in amongst that top group, all of a sudden, Panera is still stationary now. I mean, he's been stationary for over 40 seconds. Put in contrast, Naselli was stationary for 12 seconds. Hopefully it's not internet issues yet again for him. I mean, it's devastating after such a great run from him as well. Oh no, he's finally headed out after being stationary for a whopping 51 seconds. That's going to have killed off Panera's race and dropped him out of that top running.
Yeah, very interesting to see what's caused that length of a delay for him. Naselli went ages ago. He's a good 20 seconds longer than his teammate, and he's fighting back.
Whether he put too much fuel into the car and didn't know how to change it, could well be, but we see this battle in the midfield here. As Gasper's made his way past Petoni, Murakami not far behind him, and Young just the trailing end of this group in that red and yellowed livery car. It's definitely the tactics element starting to come in. We're at just over half race distance, 9 laps completed. Your top 10 currently is Nom from Marnie, Castro, Walker, Lynn, Rodriguez, Dobek, Wang, Walker and Gaspers. However, top of driver of the pit so far is Naselli. He's in 15th, so keep one eye on him. He's got a nice chunk of clear air in front of him, some 5 seconds. Just watch Gibson there battling out with Kong.
Yeah, I think Nom and Manny have gone back past the pits again, haven't they? They've decided that they're going to run this race out a little bit longer. Whether they're aware that Pinero is once again having issues, they've only now got Naselli to fight. I don't know. Oh no, here comes Manny.
That's Marnie, and so Aeronom left to his own devices out in front. What can he do? Where is Marnie going to come out? Don't forget Naselli, he's in 15th place. This is going to be a really interesting. There is Naselli just coming across the Grand Prix start-finish line. Just keeping half an eye. We've got I tell you what, the pit window is fully open. We've got Dobek, Wang, Batoni, Gaspers, Murakami, Young and Dantas all into the pits. Absolutely everyone seems to be coming in right now. But where is Naselli?
Here he comes. It's going to be a fight over the top.
You see him just going through the shot now. There he is. At the base of Eau Rouge, coming across the top through Radion.
Naselli takes it off him.
He's managed. Wow, look at that. He's just come out right behind him, and Naselli getting the jump on Marnie there.
Yeah, there's a piece of elastic between them that's getting longer and longer. It's going to snap if it gets any longer, though. Naselli might have beat him out completely.
Naselli, he just had that run up the hill and that momentum, which really allowed him just to carry on and gave him all that speed down the Kemmel Straight, and it really, really showed there. I'm sure it's exactly the same issue that quite a few of our other drivers are going to be having. Less time around, just keep you up to date with fastest laps. James Walker, the Canadian, in second place currently. It's at 2 minute 41.6, and interestingly, 0.2 of a second quicker than our leader and reigning champion, Aeronom. It's a great drive for Walker right now.
Aeronom a little bit vulnerable this lap. He's got no one with him. He's just riding on his own pace. See if Walker, Castro, Rodriguez and Lincoln can bury into his lead a little bit. But I expect Nom to be straight in now.
We know that not with Nom, he's not. It never seems to be too phased or too fussed by not having anyone to work with. He just ploughs his own field. Doesn't really care about what anyone else is doing. Just races his own race. It's a refreshing. He's like the Kimi Räikkönen of the SRF weekend warriors, with his bluntness and directness and not really caring about what everyone else is doing. It's just to see Castro coming under a bit of pressure there from Walker. However, Rodriguez joining in the fun with them as they run down to La Source. Now, well, they like to sit behind one another and get the slipstream up the hill. Well, looks very much to be that way inclined. As Aeronom, he's into the pits from the lead, and it looks like Castro's in. Just trying to see who else is going to, if anyone's going to follow him. No, Walker and Rodriguez carry on for another time around. Another new fast, no, sorry, no, that's from the last time around. I thought Walker had set another new fastest lap of the race there. But where is Nom going to come out? Naselli is in 7th place. Also, as I mentioned, got Castro and Walker in. And this is going to be, I think Naselli might well have done this.
Yeah, Naselli and Manny round the source, heading down the hill again. Oh, I don't think they're as close to Nom as they were last time round. Naselli to Man. I think Nom's got this.
It's what sort of run up the hill can Nom get? That's going to be the interesting one to see. We know he's not going to be carrying as much speed as these guys. You see just Castro in the foreground there. There's Nom. He's got back out into the lead. He's got a bit of a gap, but he's going to be vulnerable to these guys coming at them, flying from behind. You can see them catch right up to him, come the end of the Camel Straight. But I think Aeronom has just about managed to do enough. You see the Sully there just coming under a bit of a pressure. Wow, from Marty.
Extremely close. Just ran out of straight there from the side, but we've got a top 3 now who are going to fight this one out right to the checkered flag.
Well, I think what is more impressive from Aeronom as well is that he was at the, don't forget, he was at the back of what was this group of 4 originally. So not only has he managed to obviously come out in front of them, but he's comfortably, he's also managed to make up the time to be able to do that as well. And yeah, what can we say? We're running out of superlatives for Nom. But yet again, another masterclass on how to drive the Ford Spec Racer from the Estonian here on Apex Racing TV, as we just see Mino, another driver we're used to seeing big gains. He's up 23 places today, just getting his way past Peter Mirosek there, the Polish driver. Gets himself into 24th place for Mino, the Argentinian. 23 places, only displaced wide. Well, he's got Meyer in terms of highest number of gains in 27th. However, still leading the way is Bertoni up 33 places in 13th place. In terms of pit stops, well, it's your top 3 who are yet to pit. The rest of the field has done so. As we see Walker, Rodriguez and Lynn all right together with one another. Surely, Adam, they've got to be coming in this lap.
Yeah, the fuel tanks aren't that big. They'll be in this lap or the next, I'd expect. Still probably about 3 or 4 seconds off the leading group, though. I don't think they'll have gained anything by going any longer. And in they come 1, 2 and 3. Yep, they're all in.
There we go. Our lead group of 3 are in. Where are they going to come out? I mean, looking at average sort of pit stop times, they're going to be probably looking around about 38
surely.
seconds. Yeah, it's looking at the gap as well to them. I think they might even come out behind Dobek and Castro, possibly in with McCain and Bartman. But it's an interesting one because that group behind them, that's behind our leaders, has it's really changed about quite a bit. We've got Dobek at the front of them. There's top 3 there, all heading out of the pits. You can see them there. The base of Eau Rouge, you're going to see our lead group come flying through in the foreground there. There they go up the hill.
Yeah, there they go flying by.
Where are these guys going to come out? It's well, I think you could well be right here, Adam, as you see. Wow, Nom getting absolutely enveloped by Marnie and Naselli. But wow, here comes Marnie right from the back of this group and has them both on the run into Lacombe. That's spectacular. Telling that one to perfection, did the Swiss driver.
In the background, Walker and Rodriguez immediately pushing each other along the back straight. We've got further bump drafting here now from Bartman Wang.
See,
Wang just pulling him behind.
Making it to great effect there. But just sort of looking at that group who were came into the pits to see Murakami just looking like he's about to lose a place to Wang. But well, Murakami thought he was going to fight back there in the second part of Lacombe, but no, that place is officially well and truly Young's now as they came through Malmedy, and it's all happening behind them as Mirosek. No, sorry, that's not Mirosek. It's very similar livery to him. It's Stevie Ray at the front of this group, just showing Brewster and Mayer exactly how it's done there. But yeah, I mean, the group of 3 who came in, who were, let's face it, they were around about, before the pit stop started happening, they were around about 10th, 11th, 12th, that sort of window, have now worked together really well and have now got themselves up into 4th, 5th and 6th. It's with a bit of time, about a second in the bank as well. It's been some great driving from them.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Dobek as well. He's come up from 17th on the grid. Obviously chosen his pit stop time well. And is now in 7th and just off the back of this group. About a second and a half away. I would expect him to be able to draw that in over the remaining laps. Meanwhile, in the Masters battle, Payne now with a 8-second lead over Murakami. So again, something in the pit stops has led to a big lead for Payne. I think that one's over for tonight.
Burkett leaving Spec 2 right now. He's down in 26th place. It's heading back up to the lead. And this battle, by Weekend Warriors standards, it's always hard to call of how exactly it's going to finish. If we look at what we had last weekend as well, Adam, It makes it even more harder to call in terms of how these three are going to finish and who's going to get gold, who's going to get the silver, who's going to get the bronze here at Spa, because it could go to absolutely any of these three. I mean, your money's surely got to be on Aero Nom from the amount of victories that he's had in the season. As we see Naselli turning past Marnie to take charge, Nom's going to follow him through. And Nom, actually, again, really getting the slingshot, and looks like the place to be is at the back of the group come the start of the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, that's a big gap he's managed to pull there. A double draft. Oh, just loose for a second. I thought he was about to go visit the gravel traps. From third place, he made about half a second off the front of them. Obviously, that's all going to disappear as we come round and back towards Stavelot and Blanchimont. Let's see what happens on that kinked straight. Maybe Naselli can pull back the same amount.
It's going to be really interesting to see, and when they're going to make their moves, obviously with a much longer lap here at Spa, a little bit more harder to judge. Of course, it's a time race, this being 40 minutes. We've got 5.5 minutes left here remaining at Spa. It could be a little bit of a tricky one of how to time this one to ensure that you come to the front of the pack, or even the group that you are in, at just the right time.
Yeah, it's a chess match now. Everyone's planning and plotting on what they can do. When's the best time to strike? I'm expecting the guy in third, Naselli at the moment, to be able to come out of Stavelot and just draft past them towards the final chicane. Whether anyone gets in front and side by side in front of him before he can make that, maybe we'll see a 3 wide before tonight, is something to see.
Just looking at the lap times, I predict we've got around about 2 more laps here in Belgium. Who is going to come out on top? And surely from, if you sort of work it back and through it, Nom is in prime position. He's going to get overtaken by everyone else onto the Kemmel Straight. And then come the end of the next lap, obviously onto what should be the final lap, Nom will be right at the back and looking to slingshot past all 3 of the other 2 of those guys.
Well, we might see some of them denying the opportunity to overtake. We might see a Hamilton-Verstappen situation evolve as Nom hopes to let them through, and then Manny and Naselli say, no, you go ahead. We don't want to be in front just yet.
It's going to be a fascinating one to see, isn't it? Just how this all pans out as we see this group here battling out hard of Bartman, McCain, Wang, and Walker at the tail end of this group. Lynn setting a new fastest lap race at 2:41.4.
That's an excellent lap time. And the front 3 have got to watch out. If they do start saying, no, you first, Lynn and the rest of that group are still sat there threateningly.
They're doing it, and you've seen the Naselli just weaving his way through, getting the slingshot off Nom, and then Marnie. Naselli now leads. Marnie remains in second. Nom moves to the back of the grid, and nothing could happen between those guys. And then group behind him, it's Walker, Lynn, Rodriguez. Just behind him is Castro and Dobek, with McCain and Wang swapping places, with Bartman coming through. Walker's in amongst them. Just that settle out. There you go. It's McCain, Bartman, Wang and Walker. They all have the perennial scrapping into Lacoum. Just the slipstreaming down the Kemmel Straight.
A late dive up the inside. Oh, that's always a tricky one in there, off camber. But Bartman claims the place. I think he's going to lose it again before the end of the lap, but he's stamping his authority on this group, saying, I want 9th place. The rest of you can fight for the double-digit places.
Let's see, let's come through. No name there. I'm just lost. I don't know how to say this. You know, it's so hard to work out. It's constantly changing, as always, as it always does. But this one especially, I don't know how we're going to quite end up. As I'm sure onto that last lap, especially the run down to the bus stop chicane. I'm certain there's going to be some elbows out. And looking at the lap times, when they come across the start-finish line, they're going to come onto their last lap. I mean, what if you're one of these drivers? I mean, if you're Nom, for example, in the back end of that front group, do you think you're in the right position right now, Adam, or would you want to be maybe someone like Marnie, or in that second place, or I mean, Naselli seems to be in that weakest position at the front, who's the most vulnerable due to the slipstream that everyone else is getting.
Yeah, interestingly, I don't think we've seen any overtakes into the chicane. Certainly out of the first few groups, all the overtaking seems to be taking place on the Kemmel Straight. I expect it to explode on this final lap, though. We've got 1 lap to go, 3 of them. It's going to be a battle royale for this last lap.
So they come through La Source. They come across the start-finish line to go one more time around here at Spa. You see there the white flag being waved. Naselli leads the way from Marnie. Nom. Is Nom in the best position? Is he going to get this big slipstream down the Kemmel Straight like we're seeing on every other lap? You can bet your bottom dollar Naselli is going to make his car as wide as possible. Marnie goes to the right. Nom has to lift a little bit there, but he's vulnerable. It's Naselli enveloped by everyone. Marnie is going to be on the inside. Is he going to get his car just in front into the apex first ahead of Nom? He does. And when Nom had to lift, you feel there, Adam, that's what just cost him that ability to take the lead and has allowed George Marnie to take control of proceedings.
Great work from Marnie there. He just pulled out of the slipstream on the way down the hill, gave himself a little of extra room to Naselli that he could then exploit over the top. And yeah, Nom definitely had to back out ever so slightly. Not sure of the movement in front of him. Marnie with half a lap to go now.
Running it out wide. If he's got any off tracks left to use, you can bet he'll be burning through those, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. He pulled out a bigger gap as he's had all race long, some free attempts. 2 Nom behind him, but don't discredit for the Estonian. If anyone can pull off a bit of magic, he is the driver to do so in this series. Keeping half an eye on the battle behind him. Walker leads from Rodriguez and Lynn. Lynn, after a poor showing in qualifying, he's made it 6 places to get himself up into 6th place. Walker on a fly up 7 places into 4th. There's not much longer left of the lap to come round Stavelot for the final time on the run up to Blanchimont. This is surely now going to be Marnie. I mean, you can see that Nom is coming, but is it too little too late here, Adam?
Let's see into Blanchimont. I think Nom's going for the outside. Yeah, Marnie can't do anything to hold him out. Nom's going to come right round the outside.
Breathe in,
oh,
everyone.
No!
He's
no,
off.
Out into it. Saved it.
Is he going to be able to keep hold of it? Is Walker going to walk ahead through? So does Rodriguez and Lynn. Naselli somehow, after losing out in the slipstream battle, takes the lead of the race. Walker up into the podium positions. Well, I was not expecting that one.
Final corner. Marnie's surely going to throw one down the inside now.
I think he's going to be too far back, surely. This is going to be Naselli's now, as he's just negotiated La Source for the final time. It's just now the straight run down the hill. And this is, Marnie stands no chance of taking the victory once more. The lead once more as Naselli takes victory here as well. Marnie second. Walker comes home with that last podium position. And Aeronom in the end has second for 6th place. Wow. Let's take a look at exactly what happened to Aeronom here.
Is Marnie just going to drift wide, just understeer into the side of him? I would say he got a little bit squeezed, to be honest. There was a car and no more. That was not a lot of room for error left from Nom.
There was not a lot of room at all. A blinding finish here once more. See Ray here just applying the pressure onto Mino. Mino, one of the drivers, able to, as usual, pick up a load of places. It looks like he's going to have on. There's Bradshaw running very, very slow. He's run out of fuel. It looks like Bradshaw's run out of fuel. At least it's 3 places across the line there. But nearly leaves out to Brewster behind as well. Wow. So, Burkitt, sorry, he was just going through, not Brewster. Brewster's part of that group that did get past him. So we see Loero and Broadhurst come across the line together. And they're going to remain as is in 27th and 28th respectively. So we see Favini, someone we haven't really mentioned tonight, well down the order, battling out here with Perry.
Perry was upside down at the start, if you recall.
Oh, it seems like so long ago. Perry just keeping hold of that inside line there. As we've got someone just off there. They've run out of fuel potentially. I think that was Flores. Yeah, I think Flores might have run out of fuel himself there. And this is going to be a dogfight right to the end into La Source. Favini on the outside, Perry on the inside. Favini looking for the switchback. Who's going to get the best run? There's someone spun there. I'm not too sure who that was in the background. But Perry looks like he's just going to hold on to this one across the line, or is he? As they come across, and wow, 1,000th of a second between Perry and Favini. I didn't think we'd see it for a second week running, but yet again, we've seen the finest of margins separating two places here in Weekend Warriors.
So as we watch Flores trickle down the back straight there, a few cars, more than I would have expected, running out of fuel at the end there. Some people playing it fast and loose with their pit strategy and not filling up enough to get to the end. Maybe the race went a lap longer than they were expecting.
I could well have been, because it wasn't a million miles off, but it's, you know, it's always a bit hard to judge, isn't it, when you're not one of the lead cars, and especially such a large field. Now, apparently Pinero was speeding in the pits, and that's why he was stationary for so long, which actually makes quite a bit of sense now, because I think he was stationary for, what was it, it'd be his normal pit stop time, plus about 40 seconds, which is the penalty for that. So, guessing that we lost him from what was an amazing battle for the finish. We'll just wait for the last few drivers to cross the finish line, and then we can bring you up with your results here at Spa in week 2. Well, as you see, the traditional demolition derby already getting underway there here at SF Weekend Warriors, and let's just run you through your results. So Sully in the end taking the victory from Marnie. Walker, somehow the Canadian, getting onto the podium with Meet Rodriguez, Lynn in 4th, 5th, Aaron up, and the end had to settle for 6th with Dobek, Castro, Bartman and Walker running out your top 10. Then it was Wang, Batoni, Payne, McCain, Murakami, Dantas, Pinero and Mayer taking up to 18th. Of course, Payne winner in Masters, Murakami 2nd. Bino, a great result from him, up 28 places. With Ray taking 3rd in Masters and running out your top 20. That was Brewster's, Bradshaw, Burkett, highest in Spec 2 in 23rd. With Mirashek, Gradwell, Gibson, Broadhurst, Luero taking up to 28th. Jackson and Green rounding out your top 30. Then it was Young, Think Bonner, Conlon, Perry, Favini, Kong, Kern, Davidson, Dick and Brain taking you all the way up to 40th place. Then it was Cantor, Flores, Jen, Walbolt, Tobacco, Gaspers, Godfrey, Fritcher. That takes you up to 48th. Then with Santiago, Bernardo, McGuinness, Sanchinelli, and Antonio Rice. Running out your field here of 53 drivers. Another great action pack, full to the brim grid. But I'll tell you what, just waiting for you, Adam. We'll have a chat with him. Well, I say we, bit of a royal we. You can have a bit of a chat with him. It's Yogmani who finished 2nd here today at week 2 at Spa.
Good evening, everybody.
Hiya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
So how was that race for you there? Obviously coming off of pole and claiming 2nd, maybe not the full result you were after, very close with Nom in the last lap there. Take us through it.
The beginning qualifying was quite good. Aero gave me quite a nice draft on the back straight, the last bit of it. That was great. But I knew on the start, pole position is not really the place to be. I knew I'm going to be a sitting duck, but I tried to keep in touch with the 3 quick guys, and I could manage that. On the last lap, I knew he tries on the outside, so I tried to keep my inside lane, and that's what I tried, and we still touched there on the fast left-hander. And yeah, sorry for that error, but I think I kept my line there, and the rest was great.
Yeah, we saw from the chopper cam that he didn't leave you a great deal of room. There was no margin for error there for you to squeeze by on the inside.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to lean on the other one. That's how it's racing.
Very true, very true. And how do you feel about your 2nd place? You've first podium of this season.
Actually fantastic. To be perfectly honest, I even thought I might get Maurizio at the end, because I knew I could take the bus stop a bit quicker than him, so I could get at least very close on his backside. And I knew my line on the last turn, and I knew I'm going to be quicker there as well, but I couldn't manage it anymore. So congratulations to Maurizio.
Yeah, I was predicting a dive from you into La Source. Were you just not close enough?
No, I wasn't close enough, and I'm not doing dive bombs that actually ridiculously or impossible to do. I know the car by now after 3 seasons of driving now, so I know when to brake. I know how I brake. No dive bomb there. It would have been useless.
It's a very sensible point of view there. Well done on your result, and good luck in next week's racing. We'll be looking forward to see if you can claim a win next week.
Okay, thank you guys, and have a Merry Christmas and a very perfect New Year.
Thank you very much. Next person I've got lined up for you, Adam, is Masters winner, and just having a little look. Finished 13th overall, up 11 places from where he started. It's John Payne.
Yeah, I got lucky there. Unlucky in qualifying, but lucky in missing that hullabaloo on the first lap.
Yeah, take us through that one. How much did you see of it, and how early did you see it? More critically,
I saw everything, and I raced in VR, and so I just saw all heck breaking loose in front of us. And you slow down too much, you get ran over. I just tried to pick a happy median, and then it kept happening. I thought I was through it, and then just more kept appearing. But so I started, I think, 24th, and so after that, I thought, well, just stay on the track, and it's going to be a plus day for me.
Yeah, so you gained 11 places. For a long time you were battling with your Masters rival Chris Murakami, but then you've pulled away through the pit phase. Did you do anything special there?
Well, I've been having trouble pitting. I never know how much to take or how little, and I still don't know if I know correctly how this stuff works, because if I race in gallons, I've tried it in liters too, but I have a choice of 1 gallon or 2 gallons. And I don't want 2 gallons. I want like 1.2 or 1.4. So I tried a method where I just burned off 1.4 and then went in, and that way I only have to wait to get the 1.4 in. But it helped me pass him, so that worked.
Yeah, you're 2 from 2 so far this season. How are you looking for the rest of the season, do you think?
Well, when Stevie Ray made that change to lower the Masters age, I'm 58, and I decided to jump in that because I typically qualify pretty good, but I can't consistently run with the outright leaders. And I thought, well, let me try this. A little less pressure might help me, since I'm not 10 tenths every single lap. So yeah, it's working out so far.
Excellent. And if would you like to shout out to anyone on this Boxing Day?
Oh no! Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you guys for doing what you do. It's a time for everybody to be off and hang out with their families and do this and just enjoy things. But thank you for working the hard work y'all do.
Thanks very much, Sean.
Thank you.
John Payne, I win it during Masters today, of course. To round out the show, if you haven't had enough action, which is a bit hard not to after all that, some great racing here at Spa once more in SRF Weekend Warriors. Coming up in around about 15 minutes time here on Apex Racing TV. It's IGP Fun F3, and they are at round 2 from Snetterton. Be an interesting one for that. I know from a bit of other streamer covered it on. It's a spicy track for the F3, so that'll be definitely one to watch out for. But then we've got the in a couple of days' time, we've got the Simulatech Motorsport TCR series. We have got the first meeting of the season. That is at Okayama. Of course, the 2 brand new cars, the Honda Civic Type R and the Hyundai Elantra, due to the iRacing service. So it'll be interesting to see which drivers pick which cars. Whether some people stick with tradition and go with the good old Audi RS3 sedan TCR. Now, of course, next week we will see you. We are from the Red Bull Ring, so only across the Alps and heading into Austria, so not far to go. From myself, Jonathan and Adam, thank you very much, and good night, and have a good festive period.